Welcome to No Match for a Blaster, a Star Wars role-playing podcast, Season 2, Episode 30, Decisions. I'm your host and surprise Palpatine clone, Force Ghost, sentient holo recording, Ito Davis. If you're new here, No Match for a Blaster is an actual play podcast featuring the Morality Plays crew playing the Star Wars role-playing system by Fantasy Flight Games. And now it is time to thank our Nerf Herd of the Week, Kelly Carell, and our Blaster Herd of the Week, Liz Beatty. At this level, our patrons get access to our exclusive Patreon feed to listen to our episodes days early. Plus, Kelly will get to name her very own NPC on our show. Thank you, patrons. To be our next Blasterhead or Nerf Herd of the Week, be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/moralityplays. We've hit a great new milestone with No Match for a Blaster. As of this week, we've officially reached 5,000 unique downloads on our show. April has been such a huge spike, with each week hitting our top 3 download counts. And we're really excited to have some new awesome listeners in our little No Match family. We'd love to do something to celebrate. So if you have any ideas, let us know on our Facebook at No Match for a Blaster, or tweet us at morality_plays. And if you enjoyed our show, please don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. So, climb out of those Bacta tanks, because we're returning to the crew of the Atheon as Remy and S4 are waking Kamaya to let her know about the crew's new side quest.
Open. Moff Spozak's intelligence log. After delivering a rare part to information broker Ushal Molotov, the New Republic Defense Force's Captain Remy Drobash was offered a position on her crew. One aiming to rob a galactic bank on Coruscant. Now, the crew of the Atheon must decide whether to risk their lives and ship embarking on such a heist, or to preserve their safety as they prepare for the coming battle between the First Order and Sith Lord Deridian Thask. Close. Intelligence log.
We return! Yeah, we've already done all this. I always want to recap stuff, but we do a recap for the thing, so.
Yeah, well, I kind of don't remember exactly.
That's okay, because
I mean, I remember we talked to Ushal about, stealing something.
So where we left off, Remy and S4 went and talked to Ushal. Turns out they were doing a heist plan. You guys figured out how to become part of that heist if you wanted, and at least have a lot of the telemetry and information. And then you came back, and Kamaya came out of the Bacta tank, and you were going to tell her all the stuff. So it's actually perfect if you're not perfectly crisp on what happened, because you get to explain in character to Kamaya what the heck happened.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to do before I took her out of the tank, though.
Oh, great. You want to draw a mustache on the tank so it looks like she's floating around?
No, I want to roll Force of Destiny dice.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Gotcha.
Don't roll anything yet. Don't roll anything.
You did get him there.
Gotcha.
So that's basically what it was, right? It was we were going to help her.
Well, you guys have a decision to make. There's a few things that you guys can do. So you guys have all the maths they need to have this plan go through. If you want, you can be a part of it. If you want, you can move the plan up. If you want, you can push their plan back. The other thing is that the Delta 8?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. The Delta 8 with the igniter is a pretty powerful weapon. And also she's a crew. They aren't going to help you in the upcoming 3-way throwdown smack talk champion between First Order Sith and Defense Force, but you guys have access to that stuff if you push it. You know what I mean? You guys have some bigger fish fry on your plate thing.
Yeah. Do we want to burn this contact by pulling one over on them and making a plan within the plan? like I could jump the telemetry data into the plan so that they accidentally jump into the fight instead of jumping to Coruscant where they thought they were going.
Well, here, I'll let this part be in character, but I'll just say one thing is that their plan is not without risk, and like literally it's just a smash and grab. And if you've ever seen a Tarantino heist, or if you've ever seen like Reservoir Dogs, it's not. The likelihood
comparing this to heist movies I'm not liking where this is going. Also, 1 dark side point.
Yeah, okay. Forces
2 dark side points.
Now I need to roll 3 dark side points.
Nah, ha, 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 ha.
Oh, good. 2 light side for Kamaya.
And
I got this, guys.
Ito needs to roll 1 light side, so we have symmetry.
Nice.
Nice.
What did it do?
2 light side points.
Seriously?
Yep.
So, are we 2 and 3? What are we?
We are
4
and 3.
Oh,
4 light
that's
side.
a lot of points.
3 dark side. It is a lot of points.
All right, did that work?
It did. Yeah. Well, after you updated it, then it updated once I
Cool.
synced.
Was there something you wanted to do outside of have a cute intro of us having rolled the dice before you decanter Kamaya?
No, I was just distracting you, making it sound like there was something I wanted
I'm
to do.
really having a tough time remembering like what'll happen at the
Misdirection.
end. So I probably shouldn't be the one to do the...
I mean, you can begin it, and I will, S4M will happily correct you until you're right. Or we could start with me taking her out of the tank.
Yeah, that works. Let's do that.
Alright. S4M will begin the sequence to drain the tank and lower her down and wake her
I have a
back up.
question.
Yep.
It's kind of a random question now. So, the only time you really see well, I mean, maybe there's more, but the only time I can really think of someone in the tank in the movies is when, Luke is in the tank in his, tidy whities,
Yep.
you know?
Uh-huh.
She has a diaper on.
Yeah. So, what is Kamai wearing in the tank?
Apparently that.
Yeah. It's a combination of the diaper and that Fifth Element medical bandage suit. So this is a Star Wars Disney property. So everything's covered.
It's less sexy looking.
It's
Okay, so it's like a wrap, like Ace wrap or something around the top.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
Well.
It tries to be less sexy looking, but it is Kamaya. So.
You see from the top and the bottom of the bandages that bind her chest, you do see that fizz still slowly bubbling from below and above the bandages from her scar.
Right. I will let the wake up sequence run, which probably takes at least a couple seconds.
Like I said, it was a random question.
It starts to slowly drain the, is it blue? What color is it? Red? What color is
It looks red, but it turns out it's just because of the lighting
light,
and the...
that's right.
Yeah.
A small armature goes over the top of the tank that unscrews and and it fizzes a bit like a can of soda because Kamaya put Pop Rocks in there apparently.
Right.
Armature goes over the top of it, lets down some cordage that goes and wraps under her arms and across her chest a little bit, supports her as the tank drains completely, lifts her a little, and swings out. And there's a mask, isn't there? Yeah, there's a mask.
Yeah, there needs to be a breathing mask, yeah.
Kamaya, you slowly start to rouse, and you are cold.
Kamaya,
Yeah. What?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Okay, I guess. My foot feels better.
Good.
My chest is aching.
Not as good. Well, you do not need to be flying at the moment. Would you like something for the pain?
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
S4M walks over to a spot in the medical bay, takes up a hypo, and unceremoniously walks up and jabs Kamaya in the chest with it.
Ah. Okay. What's going on? How did the thing with Ushal go?
Well, I think you should also talk to the captain about that, but Ushal is planning a heist.
Okay.
Yes. Luckily, I was able to... Well, I suppose luck might not be the best word, but I was able to review their data and identify several flaws in their plan, which I gave to the captain, so that the captain looked extremely intelligent and useful.
Okay.
So, we do have the option of going on this bank heist to Coruscant with Ushal and her erstwhile group.
Wait, why are we going on a bank heist?
Well, that is something we should discuss, I suppose. Because Ushal offered it to us, and there is a timeline. Which I suppose I could adjust and make it look very...
You do have all of the information. You have all, like, they gave you all of it. So if you want, you can plug it in and do all the cool presentation stuff.
Yes, but we're going to do that in the main holo display in the main room, not in the medical. Yeah, not in the medical bay.
You can do your own Ocean's 11 thing and be like, and we're not going to. Yeah,
right. But we would have to actually do the mission if we were going to do the Ocean's 11 presentation, because various and sundry parts of it happen while I'm explaining it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like some stuff happened while I was out.
Yes, let's go talk to the captain.
Yeah. She'll get up, put her own clothes back on. Remy?
Oh, hey. See,
we doing a bank heist?
Oh, well... maybe.
S4M walks into the... Are we in the conference room?
Yeah,
or in that middle part. Just
yeah, Remy's usually sitting at the
pretty sure there's a holo
table.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a holo display in there too, isn't there?
Yeah, and if not, I'm sure. Yeah, there is. There's a big one right in the middle.
All right, S4M walks up to it, plugs into it, and activates the presentation sequence. Star PowerPoint is on.
You press play, and it's a very Ushal PowerPoint presentation. The heist.
Well, for a second, I thought you were going to say it's a very Ushal-like character comes up and starts dancing on.
It's a little animated GIF, just Ushal coming over,
It's like,
pointing Vanna Whiting at the title screen that does those really cheesy transitions. Where each
it's like her intro. It's like her dancing.
She has little finger guns, and like each letter of the PowerPoint shows up.
Pew,
the heist.
Pew, pew. No, we came up with a code name for it.
It hasn't been entered yet.
Oh, okay.
So it says the bank heist.
Mm-hmm. I think it was codename Withdrawal.
Operation Withdrawal. Yeah, that's what it was.
In real time. You see S4's model.
S4M updates it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
We sort of stumbled upon them making a plan to do a bank heist.
Okay.
But we have to decide if that's what we want to do or not. It seems like all of seems like the accounts and things they were going to hit were more so big corporations or something connected to the First Order in some way. Is that right? Don't I remember that right? I remember that right.
They're going to hit some of the big accounts, and a lot of the big accounts are that, but they're not like with your extra guidance, because S4 has all the plans. You guys can kind of force them to focus on it more. If you leave them to their own devices, they're going to hit a lot of bigger corporations. It has a pretty good chance of hitting almost, a lot of them, but they're going to be less discriminate unless you help them.
And
Ushal had no intention of focusing on the First Order. This isn't a political.
Well, it seems
move
like I
for her.
remember voicing some concerns about like stealing from.
Yeah.
Mom and pop operations.
Yeah.
If they're going to hit the people with the biggest accounts, they're not going to hit mom and pops. Like, these are going to be, like, this is going to be a company that, you know, makes galactic rations or galactic super ships and stuff like that. These are the massive bankrolls that they're going to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Big corporations.
Well, S4, is there some way we could influence the plan so that we are mostly focusing on those accounts that are linked to the First Order?
Yes, Captain. We could go through the information they have on the bank, identify the physical vaults of the best targets, quote unquote, and
present it in a way of this would get us the most amount in the least amount of time.
correct. In addition, I can calculate the entry sequence for everyone's ships so that we land closest to those targets. So not only is it the most lucrative, it is the most convenient. And I think that would work excellently for this sort of operation. I don't think they'll particularly care who we're stealing from, as long as it's useful and valuable.
All right.
Wait a second. Like, I like playing cops and robbers as much as the next kid, but don't we have some stuff we're trying to do right now? I thought we were about to go to Segura.
Well, there are a few options for that, Kamaya. The captain here has been left in charge of doing the additional math needed to make all of this work, which means I have been left in charge of doing all the additional math to make this work. I could certainly make it appear that we needed to postpone this event because of something in particular. Or I could work out the numbers so that it is optimal to do it a while from now, if we wish to do it. There is also the option of they are using the Mark 8 Jedi Starfighter, I believe.
The Delta 8?
The Delta 8, that's what it was. They're using the Delta 8 Starfighter that was stolen from several pirates, apparently. And
Yeah.
they are attaching the igniter to it. This will allow the Delta 8 to pull an asteroid through hyperspace. This will cause a giant EMP effect as it slides into the atmosphere of Coruscant, such as it is, which will cause a stunning effect on anything that is electronic, such as sensors, security systems, droids, etc. Anything that isn't shielded anyway. So, that is their plan. They will then land under the cover of this commotion and smash and grab anything of value from the vaults that they then blow open. Unless, of course, they don't need to blow them open because they were digitally locked to begin with. But it has come to mind that instead of them doing this, we could inject a plan into their plan, such as changing their navigational data so that they all pop up where we want them to, rather than on Coruscant. We could also steal the ship out from under them with the igniter and the carefully chemically compositioned asteroid, so that we are able to, say, throw it at the First Order fleet fighting a Sith Lord. But it depends on whether or not you are willing to burn this contact of yours, who seems to be rather helpful.
I do like that ship. Okay. Remy, what are your thoughts on this? Did you want to do this?
Well, S4 makes some good points. I did want to clarify that if we did go through with the heist, that it would still be, it would still be an attack on the First Order, primarily on the First Order. But it would also, to go with the Plan B, so to speak, and reroute the attack so that we deliver a large EMP blast not only to the First Order, but also the Sith Lord fleet, could also be very advantageous, especially if we then brought in the Resistance fleet, who was not affected by the EMP blast, to kind of mop up both sides. But I do think it would be prudent to delay this, either with whichever option we go with, and go to Segura and secure whatever it was I saw in the temple first. That way we still have a way of combating the Sith Lord if we do get into a face-to-face battle.
Okay, that makes sense. So we try to postpone, and
that would also give us time to decide if we want to go through with the actual heist or redirect. I don't know how many of these...
How much time do you want, Captain?
How much time do you think it would take us?
Recalculating.
To get to Segura and find the artifact.
The round trip to Segura will take 40 hours total, Captain. That is not including any time on the planet. Other than landing.
And when are we estimating that the two fleets will collide with each other?
If all goes according to the current plan, Captain, 16 days and counting.
So, if we were to go with Plan B, we would need it to correspond with that time.
Yes, Captain.
And that should give us a sufficient amount of time to find whatever it is we're looking for on Segura.
So, you wish me to adjust the plan so that it requires them to do the mission on the 16th? Or, excuse me, on 16 days from now? Because if we do that, then the only thing we can do is operate on Plan B. Because if we do, in fact, want to go through with the heist, we won't be able to, because we will be having to go and fight the S-Word Lord.
What do you two think would be the better option?
It is a wide galaxy, Captain, but I would rate this as at least uncommon.
So that should at least factor into it, even if we could convince Ushal, even if we could convince her to, at the minimum, loan us the ship, if we didn't steal it outright. Then we gotta find another asteroid to use. Seems like...
Well, Captain, if you do not wish to steal the vessel, then it might be prudent to use our share of the treasure and purchase the ship from Ushal. She seems to be business-oriented.
Is that amount of money sufficient?
I don't know. How much money would you be making?
I would like to point out that the price of the ship would also be affected by the fact that it is likely to show up on someone's security scanners on Coruscant as involved in this incident. She may not want to keep the ship to begin with.
That's another good point.
Okay. So, I guess that's a good point. We could help them and then get that ship. I mean, I'm sure the First Order could use it.
The First Order?
Why would the First Order use the ship?
I have a brain. It's early, guys. I'm sure the...
Would you like to go back into the Bacta tank?
Yeah. I'm sure the Defense Force could use it. It's especially with those particular skills that it has. But we still don't know how long it's going to take to find what we're looking for on Segura.
That is accurate. I have no way of estimating that.
When do we have to get back to Ushal about this?
Today.
So we need to make a decision. Are we going to go through with the heist? Or are we going to redirect? Either way, I would think we would need at least a week, if not 16 days. And I would hate to get too far, if we're going to go with both, I would hate to do anything more than 10 days. We want a little bit of time to coordinate with the Defense Force. And ensure that we can get that ship and another asteroid. So I would think somewhere between a week and 10 days is what we need to delay. Or 16 if we're not going to do the heist.
That stands to reason, Captain.
Any other thoughts?
S4M is working under the assumption that you're talking to Kamaya this time.
Well, I'm talking to both. I'm talking to both of you.
Right, but I understand that, but I don't think S4M does.
Did you wish me to weigh in on the decision,
Yes.
Captain?
Yes, please. Yes.
I don't want to forget what we really need to focus on. We should make sure that no matter what, we're going to finish what we started with Segura.
Well, yeah, that either plan, we're going to do that first.
So basically, we're just deciding how much we're going to be involved with them, whether we're going to turn on Ushal or not.
We're deciding. Okay, plan A is to go to Segura, find the artifact, come back, help in the heist, acquire the ship and another asteroid, and then go and fight the two fleets. Plan B is to go to Segura, find the artifact, come back, and redirect the heist into the fight of the two fleets.
Kill Philip. Sorry, Philip.
Or three fleets, I guess. Because ideally we would have the Defense Force come in and also, after we delivered the EMP blast, the Defense Force would come in. And so I guess technically three fleets. Unless Ito comes up with another fleet somewhere.
That sounds like him.
So there is one thing I would need to add to the plan that you have just recited, Captain. If during any part of this our ship sustains significant damage to moderate damage, it could require several weeks of repair
Right.
to be...
And not only
combat
our
capable.
ship, but also the Delta 8. If it were to sustain any
Receive
damage in the heist.
any damage during the heist, it would probably not be capable of being used for our operation for at least a week.
They're very old ships.
They are very old ships. It was a prototype vessel, or is a prototype vessel. It's not exactly like there are parts lying around.
All right.
And
That's,
considering the aggressive nature of Ushal's plan, it is likely the prototype vessel will receive some damage, if in fact she does not plan for it to be destroyed in the operation, so that she does not need to hide it. That is not currently part of the plan that I can see, but I could easily see it being an option for her.
In that case, are we okay with burning Ushal as a contact in order to go through with Plan B?
She has been really useful. I mean, we've gotten a lot of good information out of her. And she knows a lot of... It sounds like she knows a lot of things, and she knows a lot of people. It could make Julius Station not as safe a place for us.
That is a good point, Captain. We do wish to consider the fact that this is, at best, a short-term victory against the S-Word Board. You will continue to have to operate after that, and not being able to use Julius Station or Ushal's apparent extensive underworld connections could be quite detrimental to your ability to operate. And there are ways to go about this without having to burn Ushal.
Such as?
Paying her for the ship. Doing the heist with her. We will be cutting the time close. But I'm sure the New Republic Defense Force could also use the credits.
That's a good point, and not only would we be dealing a blow to the First Order in their manpower and ships, but also financially.
Yes.
It could be it could be what turns the tide here.
That is also a possibility. I would also add that the New Republic Defense Force may not wish to be associated with such a brazen plan, but they will have plausible deniability. And, if push really comes to shove, we'll know who to arrest.
That's another good point. Alright, it kind of sounds like we're decided then.
Very well. I will adjust the plan. How much time do we need between the smash and grab and the battle? Let's see
How
here.
far away is Coruscant from where the battle's going to be taking place?
That is what I am working on, Kamaya.
And also, you don't want to forget about Segura. I think we need at least a week in Segura, hopefully less. But with travel time, maybe a week. That would give us 5 days or... So if we push this... Yeah, if we push this plan back a week, that would give us about another 9 or 10 days before the battle. Is that enough time?
It may have to be, Captain.
It may have to be. All right, let's go with that. Unless anybody has any objections.
As long as we're focusing, I don't think that the Atheon will be damaged, but I don't want to be without her in the battle.
Well, I absolutely agree.
Speaking of damage to the Atheon, that is something we need to address while we are here. The Atheon did sustain some damage.
Alright, so how long will it take to fix the Atheon now? Because apparently we're in a time crunch. We need to get moving.
I would estimate that it would take at least the remainder of today and part of tomorrow, let's say half of tomorrow to be safe, to repair the somewhat minor damage the Atheon has currently received. Also, I believe there were several mechanics you wished to talk to while we were here. Perhaps we could offer them the work specifically, if they have not already found other employment. In the meantime, I will begin the calculations to readjust the plan and force it to be the day we wish it to be.
Guess we've got a plan.
All right.
This concludes the current presentation.
There's a little theme music as the presentation closes.
Yay! Those little popper streams.
There's like little credit chips that are like falling down like confetti.
And Uchal's dancing in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, if you tell anybody about this, I'll murder your entire family.
Finger guns. Bling bling.
Pew, pew. All right. So you let's say it's the effectiveness of like an afternoon. So by S4's estimations, around the same time noon tomorrow, the ship should be done. You guys have a few things that we won't spend a lot of time on, but things that you guys can do in the interim time here on Julius. So what do you do?
You've already updated the defense force.
Yep, that whole packet is still being sent and all that kind of information. Yeah, so I'll say.
Oh well, no, but do we need to update them on our current plans?
Oh,
we probably do need to update them.
You should send an addendum. Yes.
Yeah, I will do that.
Because they'll need to take this into account into their fleet battle plans.
Yeah.
So you take some time, all your stuff finishes up, you send them your information, they send you. There are updates to... Oh, gosh, their mission needs a code name, doesn't it? What would that be called?
How about Operation Smash and Grab?
No. The one for the three-way fight.
I know. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I was thinking too. Actually,
I personally was thinking 8-ball corner pocket.
Oh God, no! They're not that slick. Yeah, they give you some updates. Last time you guys talked to them, there were some moving arounds in the galaxy that they thought might be particularly
Operation Dancing Nerf
relevant. Oh God, they've been on Hoban too long.
They've been on Hoban too long. Exactly. Yes. It's exactly what I was thinking.
They've been on Hoban for like a week. It's too long.
That was too long.
That was Kamaya's high school mascot.
The Dancing Nerf.
The Dancing Nerf.
And someone some intelligence officer making the plan literally looks out the window and sees like the giant Dancing Nerf painted on the side of the high school. The Star High School.
So what they saw before was there was a lot of they were seeing the pattern of where this S-word lord was hitting. It didn't make a lot of sense. And then after he hit a place that it was pretty much empty. Either people were dead, but a lot of the ships and stuff like that were gone. There was a whole chunk of time where you didn't see any of the targets that were hit, and then he would pop back up. Turns out they did some investigating, and they found out that he'd actually hit certain strategic, what looks like were hidden Imperial bases.
Hidden Empire bases? Or hidden Sith Empire bases?
Imperial.
Oh.
Yeah. So the first targets were things that would make sense for the information he had. And then he started hitting things, some First Order places and then some actual normal galactic civilization places. And then he went off the map for a while. And it turns out that he was actually hitting some deep research sites, like you guys have been finding. And now he is actually the latest target was an unknown, like incredibly lush planet that was, because of the atmosphere, completely inhabitable. And once that pinged on the radar that's where he was, the scouts went out to try and figure out why he was there, and they were able to find that there were underground. There was like an underground small city that was on the planet, and it's completely empty. And there's no signs of violence.
Well, that's terrifying.
Thanks for listening. To make sure you don't miss any big updates, follow us on Facebook at No Match for a Blaster, or on Twitter at Morality_Plays. If you enjoyed our show, please leave us a review on iTunes, and visit our Patreon at patreon.com/moralityplays. No Match for a Blaster is a podcast, Morality Plays. Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny are made by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our theme is by Kevin MacLeod. Sound effects by Treston Lundgren, Vindus, and Akmov. And I would like to thank my amazing players. Brandon playing Remy Drobash, Gerald playing S4M3L, and Bobby playing Kamaya Saris. And of course we'd like to thank you, our listeners, and we'll see you again soon, in a galaxy far, far away.